What's up, YouTube? WILDMAN here. Now, before we begin the video, I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer. I would like to try to fix an error that I found on the internet and YouTube when it comes to searching the differences between a mixed grip deadlift and using straps. I'm a lot more powerful in the deadlift when I use a mixed grip versus using straps. Like almost 50 pounds more powerful. And when I wanted to stop using the mixed grip deadlift because I was starting to get injuries like these, I wanted to know how I could get better using straps, because for some reason when I throw straps on, I actually am worse at the deadlift than I am using the mixed grip deadlift. But every time I went on the internet and looked on the YouTube to see what I could do different, there's literally nothing out there. So after 5 years of trying to research it on my own and watching my favorite YouTube stars perform deadlifts with straps and trying to figure out how I could get better, I finally figured out a method for myself. Now, I actually found an old training video that I had that I never put into production on my YouTube channel, which actually explains the differences between mixed grip and using straps and how you can use a technique to get more powerful from the bottom using straps. So let's pop into this old video and let's see what I had to say back then. Oh, hello there, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, I'm going to be trying out my luck on the axle deadlift. Now, the difference between an axle bar and a barbell is the axle bar is a lot thicker in diameter, doesn't have rolling ends or knurling, and is zero give as you're pulling. It's a very stiff bar, so it's much harder to lift. However, in strongman, axle bars are used quite frequently. Also in strongman, we're allowed to use straps. Now, some people think that straps are cheating, but for me, I actually get a lot more weight lifted from the ground with a standard barbell using a mixed grip than I do with straps. Reason being, I'm able to be a little bit more upright and I'm able to squeeze the bar to get some more inertia out of it when I'm pulling. I also have to get my air at the top of the lift, which makes it easier for me to be in a good position as I descend to the bar. Now with an axle bar, I start from the bottom and I'm using straps. So I have to get my air from the bottom, which leaves me personally, just because of the way I'm built, in a position of disadvantage. But I'm still going to train it anyways because it is a part of strongman and it's definitely something worth exploring. So let's pop in and let's see what we did today. So the beginning of this giant set is going to start off with the axle deadlift, and eventually I'm going to put straps on. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the bar away from my shins to make sure that my shoulders are in proper alignment. And then I'm going to roll it to my shins, and that's going to make sure that my shoulders are perfectly aligned with the bar and they're not too far over the bar or behind the bar. Now, since this is in giant set format, I'm going to be doing bar facing burpees as I go up in weight. This is to make sure that my hips are being explosive and my whole body is warmed up as the weight gets heavier. This will help me lift the deadlift a lot better. And I'll also sprint like this 3 times back and forth as a shuttle run, which will be 100 meters total. Also, again, to get my body warm and to be explosive. And that's going to be the giant set for the day. Now, the next tip I'm going to give is to make sure you breathe and brace at the bottom of the lift. And then as you roll the bar towards you, you maintain that brace in your breathing. And you continue to hold that brace all the way to the top of the lift. And once those shins touch the bar, they maintain contact throughout the entire lift. And avoid jerking it off the ground. Make sure that once you're tight, you just slowly and methodically pull it up with efficiency and power. This is probably the biggest difference when it comes to getting your air at the top and your brace at the top, and then getting all of your power in your brace when you're at the bottom of the lift. But that's kind of the way the deadlift is designed. It's designed to be lifted at a dead stop. So if you want to be good with straps, you have to be really efficient at the bottom of the lift. Now, my third cue I'm going to give is going to be like the advice from Happy Gilmore, which is it's all in the hips. You'll notice that when I set up, once I get my breath and my brace correctly, then my hips go super low as I roll the bar to my shins, almost like a front squat low. And this is to make sure that my shoulders are in line with the bar. But you will notice that I don't jerk the bar up because there's too much space between the bottom and my hips. So I slowly raise my hips so I can feel that my hamstrings, my shoulders, and my back and my brace are all very tight, like they're wound up. And once I raise my hips and my body is tight, then I push my hips downward and shoot my hips through once the bar clears my knees. It took me a very long time and a lot of research to figure out that hip placement because it just naturally happens when I get my air and my brace at the top of the lift and lower myself down eccentrically. But hips, let me tell you, that changed everything once I kind of figured out how they need to move. At the bottom start position. Now, the last cue I'm going to give is all in the upper back. You want your shoulders to be rounded so that your arms are like ropes, but you want your upper back to be tight and your lower back neutral. You don't want your lower back doing any of the movement. Your lower back is a stabilizer and is very fragile, even though it is very strong. You want your upper back to be doing all the work. So make sure that you are including upper back movements like I do. I do a lot of upper back movements when I'm lifting to ensure that it's strong and it can hold the weight and not shift to my lower back. So now let's see all the cues in real time. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the straps on my placement where my hands need to go, where they touch my knees when I poke through. Roll the bar away, get my brace, lower my hips into a front squat, roll the bar to the shins, raise my hips until I'm nice and tight, and press through the floor like I'm trying to move the earth away and maintain my brace through the entire movement. This is really the most efficient, most powerful, and safest form that I've developed just by watching and doing research on other people that are great at doing strap deadlifts. Now, I believe that I got a little overzealous. I think I was supposed to do 410 for 3 singles, but I decided, screw that. I'm just going to go ahead and go for 440. And I believe that that wasn't part of the program. But again, I was feeling so good this day that I decided to go for it. And you'll see that with all the cues, everything just moves nice and smooth. So I thought I'd be done there for the day. Instead of doing 3 reps at 410, just going for 440 and practicing proper form all the way up and down. And I really felt like that I got a really efficient workout out of it. And I finished off this workout by doing my assistance, which was 3 rounds, and I was going to use some strongman movements. So one of my favorite things to do to build up my overall strength and my upper back strength is to pick up a heavy stone and to carry it for distance. So this is one of the stones that I have in my backyard. It's one of my lighter stones. It weighs 156 pounds. But after doing 3 rounds with it, you get very tired. But this is one of the best ways to build your upper back, which are important for deadlifts. Another important movement for deadlifts is to do your ab mat sit-ups. You do a lot of posterior work when you're doing deadlifts, and so you want to work the antagonistic portion, which would be doing the opposing motion like this. So this is a good exercise to do in order to increase your core strength, but also to get better at deadlifts because you're basically working the opposite or the antagonistic movement of the deadlift. And I finished off this workout by doing a 300-meter run to a designated spot, and then I turned back around. And not only does this keep my body warm and conditioned, but by the time I was done with all the running, I had done 1 mile of cumulative running. So I got a little ambitious on the axle deadlift, but I did hit my goal for the day. That gives me a starting point of where to go from here to train so that I can get better at that movement. Can't get any better than that. And thanks for joining me today. I'll catch you next time.